The following episode of the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters was originally broadcast on April 11th, 2023.
It's time now for Business Matters, brought to you by Mokulele Airlines with your host, Pam Toompop. Good morning, Pam.
Hey, good morning, Gary. How are you today?
I'm very good. Did you have a good Easter?
I did. How about you?
Very good.
Oh, glad to hear it. Well, it's so good to be with everyone today. Welcome to Business Matters Radio Show. I'm your host, Pamela Toompop, president of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, and today we're going to talk about the annual local and national SBA Administration Awards with the SBA's dynamic duo, Hazel and Val. We're going to discuss how to prepare to sell your business with Paul Felix, and we're going to learn more about one of our Made in Maui County Festival vendors, Miyo Art. But let's start off with the ladies representing the SBA's, known as the Small Business Administration's Hawaii Pacific Islands District Office. We have with us back again this morning Hazel Beck, Deputy District Director, and Valerie Kubota, Outreach and Marketing Specialist. Good morning, ladies. Welcome back to the show.
Aloha, Pam.
Good morning, Pam. Happy to be here.
Aloha. Good morning. Well, we have a lot coming up in May, and I was going to have you talk a little bit about the SBA's National Small Business Week, what happens during that week on the national level, and how that feeds into the Hawaii Small Business Week.
Great, Pam. So the Small Business Administration sets aside 1 week in the year to honor the efforts of our small businesses across the U.S. and territories. And so there are 68 district offices in the SBA, and each of those offices plans its own unique event to honor these winners. So there are various categories in which small business owners are nominated by banks, economic development organizations. They can self-nominate. So the nominations are received by each district office, and then they go through a judging process. Some of the categories include family-owned business, veteran-owned business, woman-owned business, and then there's always a selection of Small Business Person of the Year for the state. And we're kind of unique out here in Hawaii because each of the counties, each of the islands, have their winners, and then we have an overall state winner. So we're very excited about that. And this year, the SBA has gone back to previous methods of recognizing these winners by inviting them all, the state-level winners, to Washington in person. And then a national winner will be selected. And Hawaii was very lucky. In 2017, we actually had a national Small Business Week winner, and that was Garrett Marrero of Maui Brewing Company. So fingers crossed. We hope to do that again soon.
Bragging rights for Maui. We're still very proud, and fingers crossed we have another state winner. Well, that is so awesome.
Yep.
Just in case people are wondering, because we have 50 states, and you mentioned district offices, how do we arrive at 68?
Well, we have some states that are larger than others, so California, Texas are an example there. So some of the states with larger geographical areas and larger populations merit multiple district offices within them. So that's how we get to the 68.
Oh, that's amazing. And then, of course, your office does also Hawaii and then the Pacific Islands. So I'm sure we also have, some of our other islands represented, like Puerto Rico and things represented in other areas as well.
Yes, we're actually pretty lucky. We're pretty lucky out here because we cover the state of Hawaii, we cover the southern and the western Pacific. So we cover a lot of miles. A lot of it is water, but we serve a little over 2 million people.
Wow, that's fantastic. I don't think anybody had any idea that you're serving that many people from our district office in Honolulu. That's amazing. That's why we call you the dynamic duo.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Everybody knows you two ladies are boots on the ground making things happen. And we always appreciate it and appreciate all you do for businesses across our state. Tell us a little bit about this year's Hawaii winners.
Sure, Pam. So as Hazel described, the Small Business Person of the Year is traveling to Washington, D.C., and this year it is Jonathan Montalvo. He is the president of Aloha Termite and Pest Control. So Jonathan started out in Kauai, and he soon later expanded and branched across the state. He does a lot of great things for the community. And, that's one of the things the judges look at is not only the staying power or how well the business does, in the economy, but they also look at the contributions these businesses make to the community. So, he's very active in the community, gives back a lot, Toys for Tots, a lot of the sports teams in the community. So we're excited for him to go and compete against the other winners across the state and the nation. And we also have other great businesses under, like Hazel mentioned, the county winners, which is Doctors of Waikiki. They did a lot of great work during the pandemic. And then over there on Maui, we have David Sellers. He is the owner of Hawaii Off-Grid. Like Hazel mentioned, he was nominated by his bank, and he's excited for the activities that are coming up. And as Hazel mentioned, we also honor women-owned businesses. So here on Oahu, we have Monica Taguchi-Ryan, the owner of Highway Inn. They now have 2 locations. She actually could have qualified for another category, which is family-owned business, as a business that is transferred from one generation to the next. So Monica's a woman-owned business. We also have on Maui, we have Coconut Condos, Angela Leone. So we're excited for them. And then again, in the family-owned category, these are businesses that were transferred over or, sent to the next generation. And we have businesses that have over 60-plus years in business in the second and third generation. So the state winner, we have Dwight Min of Min's Plastics. We also have a winner on Kauai County, which is the Anahola Granola. They started in a little shack down there, and since grown all over. I'm sure everyone see their granola over there in Costco and all the big box stores. So they're doing really well as well. And this year it was really surprising. We got a lot of nominations in the Young Entrepreneur of the Year category. So it's great to see young people taking, a chance and opening businesses. So the Young Entrepreneur of the Year for the state is Kea Peters, and she is the illustrator and owner of Kako Collective. She does some great illustrations of the Hawaiian plants and flowers, and she is very much into perpetuating the Hawaiian culture, always reaching out to the community. So she's just an inspiration. And I know a lot of young people are, taking a chance and, doing something what they love and pursuing their passion. So that's really exciting. And the last 2 categories we have is the Veteran-Owned Business of the Year, which we have a state winner, Band of Brothers, a group of retired military friends that now own several of the Anytime Fitness locations on the state. And state winner, Dirk Soma, is the Veteran Business Champion of the Year. He is a professor there out on in Kauai Community College. So he does a lot for veterans and their families. So we're happy to, honor women, veterans, and again, the young entrepreneurs, the ones who, are taking a chance out there. So it's very exciting time.
Well, I love these awards every year. I know you ladies love these awards. It's one of the most fun things we get to do at the Chamber, and I know in your office as well, when we get to acknowledge the amazing contributions of our small businesses, and as you said, to our communities as well. And, people are thrilled by the stories. I was thinking, my gosh, I was watching Aloha Termite and Pest Control's ad just last night. After they went statewide, we're now seeing a lot of their advertising, and we love, that it's a family-owned business, and they show their team across the islands, and just a really cute down-home commercial, which I just love. So it's nice to get to know more about each of these individuals and their companies and the kind of things they're doing in their community. And a lot of that is going to culminate at the event that you are working on right now and getting ready to put up on May, we're past March, May 4th, to honor these winners. Tell us about the great event coming up.
Oh, it's going to be a wonderful evening. We are going to be celebrating all of our winners at a gala at the YWCA here on Oahu. We're inviting the winners to join us, their families. We're inviting the nominators, the people that put their names forward. We so appreciate the amazing support that you provide as the Maui Chamber of Commerce, and of course our MC, Roseanne Freitas from the Better Business Bureau. So it's going to be an amazing evening. Cafe Julia will be providing the food. And so we are looking forward to another memorable event honoring all of our winners. I believe our timing is 4:30 to 7:30 on May 4th.
It is going to be a great evening. Really want to encourage people. Tickets are on sale now, and you can go to the Maui Chamber website. All of the proceeds are going to this event. So this is not a fundraising event. It is all of the proceeds are going to make this a spectacular evening in celebration of these amazing small businesses statewide. I know this is a local radio show, but it does hit some parts of Oahu, and it does hit the Big Island. So if you're listening, just go to MauiChamber.com. Support your local businesses. There are tickets still available, but it's going to sell out this year. Space is limited. We have more winners, so we're expecting it to sell out, but there's still time. I think we've got about 20-plus tickets left, so now's a good time to get those tickets, even though the event's May 4th. Get in early because it's just great to see, and you get to network with these amazing businesses and learn from them, learn about them, make B2B connections, and also just learn a lot more about the SBA during the program. So we're going to have a lot of fun on May 4th.
Yes, we are.
And
it's always a good time.
It's always a good time. Yeah, when we all get together, we have a great time. But also the food at Cafe Julia is amazing, and it's kind of a fun indoor-outdoor courtyard event. And so there's networking before the event, then there's food, and you can take it in and continue to enjoy the meal during the ceremony, and then continue networking at the end. So it's a really great time. And for Neighbor Island folks, you folks have even arranged, we've got some specialty pricing on hotel rooms, too, so people can stay the night or even make it a staycation weekend.
Great.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So, will we know at that event what date is the state winner announced? The national winner that goes up from each state. When is the national winner announced?
That one is going to be announced on April 30th. It's a Sunday in Washington, D.C., so they have a gala planned there as well. and they'll announce it then. So we should hear sometime on May 1st or around there. Definitely before the May 4th, our pauhana. So
Perfect.
yeah, we're excited for Jonathan, and keeping our fingers crossed.
Well, we are too, and I just want to thank you, ladies, for all the work you do. And I know Val's going to be coming to Maui soon. You've got a planned trip to come visit us, and we're going to arrange special meetings for you. So
yes, I'm looking forward to that as well. Thank you.
Our pleasure. So, folks, if you're interested in coming, again, there are limited tickets available. First and foremost, they go to the winners and their families and the nominators, but there is a few other seats available, so you can buy tickets now. It's a great way to network, and for Maui businesses, it's a great way to make it a day where you make connections and have meetings in Oahu that you've been thinking you need to do, and then culminate the evening with a great celebration with the SPA. So want to encourage everybody. And ladies, we'll have you on again soon, probably after, to talk about how great everything went and Val's upcoming visit.
And we're looking forward to it. And thank you again, Pam, for all that you do for small business on Maui and across the state of Hawaii. You touch many small businesses, not just your own island there. So we are very grateful for you as well.
Yes, and Pam, we also want to give a big shout out to Amber.
Yes,
she's such a I don't know, God sent. We couldn't do this without her. She's always there. Responsive and, keeping us in line. So we don't want to miss out and, give her a big shout out. Thanks, Amber.
Oh, thank you. I will let her know. Thank you, ladies. You have a wonderful day. And
you
thank
as well.
you so much
Aloha.
for joining us.
Take care, Pam.
Thank you. Aloha. And for those of you who don't know, we call Amber Chief Chamber Angel. If you're familiar with the old television show that I grew up with called Charlie's Angels, Charlie was sort of the voice on the box, kind of like I am today. I'm the one that, if you weren't in a meeting with me, you might hear me from time to time. But I was not seen as much as I have been now that we do all these Zoom and Blue Jeans meetings. And Amber is Chief Chamber Angel. She is the angel on the ground, keeping things together and moving forward and making things happen. So she does a lot of work on so many of our projects and is more behind the scenes but getting things done. So we want to thank her for all that she's doing. And we're going to take a quick message from our sponsor, Mokulele Airlines, and be right back.
Mokulele Airlines operates the largest commuter airline hub in the country, right here in Kahului. Fly Mokulele from Kahului to Molokai, Lanai, Hana, Waimea, Kona, and now Hilo. Mokulele also operates the only flights between Kapalua and Honolulu. There is never a middle seat on Mokulele, and every seat has a window and aisle. Visit mokuleleairlines.com and take your next flight from the newly renovated Mokulele Terminal.
Well, while we get Paul on the line, let me take a moment to introduce Paul Felix. He is a Maui native and graduated from Baldwin High School, as did I. He has an extensive background in the banking industry in Hawaii and skills in business and finance. He is also a certified business appraiser from the Institute of Business Appraisers. And today we're going to talk about what it looks like when you're looking at exit planning and selling your business. For many businesses, everybody thinks about what it's like to get started in business, right? And we start with a lot of high energy, and I would be talking to entrepreneurs. They're so excited about starting, and after we converse for a little while, I'd say, okay, and how are you going to get out of your business? And people would be almost taken aback or offended, like, what do you mean get out of my business? I'm just looking to get into my business. I don't want to get out, or why would I start it if I'm not going to be doing this? But none of us are going to be around for 100 years doing our business. So, the question is, what transcends, how are you going to transcend the business if you're going to keep it going? Sometimes people decide that they're just going to end. Sometimes people pass it on to family members or their children, or there's many different ways to exit your business. And what we want to do is keep those businesses thriving and healthy until people are ready to exit. They're generating revenue and they're employing people in our community. Sometimes businesses end with employee stock options and employee ownership. There's so many different ways, and that's where we need expert advice. And Paul is one of those people who can provide that. Aloha, Paul. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Pam. I can barely hear you, but I think I can make out what you're saying.
Okay, I'm sure Gary can work on the background and tweak that a little bit. I was just kind of saying a little bit about exit planning, saying that when I used to do some consulting, I would talk to people about when they were getting in business, how they were going to exit the business, and they used to be a little startled by that, especially as new entrepreneurs. But can you talk a little bit about exit planning for business owners? And, what are the benefits of doing this planning, and how Hawaii Business Sales, your company, can help?
Great. No, I'm happy to share that with you. Exit planning is starting to become an industry because of the baby boomers are there. People have been working at their jobs for 20, 30 years, and you've got more sellers than you have buyers right now. So it's going to become increasingly important, with only 60% of the businesses out there that will actually sell. The other 40 won't and will probably close or just postpone. You really need kind of a team. And so what exit planning does is professionals like us go out and we get a credential that helps us understand the best practices at doing it. And so one of the things you had asked is, what is exit planning? So it's a process. We walk the business owner through uncovering what their exit goals are. What do they want to do? Are they mentally ready? Are they financially ready? What kind of owner are they? Do they want to stay in the business and work for another 3 or 4 years? There's ways to do that. When you exit a business, you can sell now or parts of it and still work in the business. Or do they want to get out now? They're just totally tired of it, right? So there's that. And then we also educate them on the different options that exist. We do help bring in their CPA and their legal person, and we look at estate and the tax issues and things like that too, because 80% of a business owner's personal net worth is tied up in that business. That's what we find on average, and so it's a big deal. And you really shouldn't, I'll just try to wing it, because that doesn't always pan out so well. Understanding the strategy, understanding the solutions that are out there. That's pretty much the primary benefit, Pam, of doing that.
It's really important, and I'm glad that you brought up, again, 80% of your personal net worth for business owners is tied up in your business. So as you're looking at your retirement and what you're trying to do as you're planning your exit, the expertise and the team is invaluable. I mean, it's so important. And Paul has been an expert in Maui for many, many years, helping a ton of businesses. And I was a little surprised. The statistic's a little scary right now. 60% will sell and 40 won't right now.
Yeah, it's really we call it a seller, buyer's market, right? There's just more to choose from. And you know that. You can tell that just from the number of employees, right? Every business is short 20% labor right now. There's just not enough bodies. Same goes for the buying process. There's just not that many buyers out there. There's lots of sellers. They're at that time that they want to do something new or this and that. So, we assemble a team. We make sure we find out whether or not they're missing anything. We help them learn about valuation a lot. I'm a certified business appraiser. I help them figure out, can they stay in their business and grow it and improve that value even more, or at least get it, by sharing up the risks. What are the risks? I had this business once who said, I want to sell my business. And I looked at him and I asked him a few questions. I know what to ask. And he said, I have 4 customers and one of them generates 80% of my business. Yeah. And I'm like, that's going to be a tough sell. In fact, you couldn't sell it. Because you lose that one customer, you have no business. And so diversification would have been a strategy he could have started on 4 or 5 years earlier and tried not to rely on the easy route of just having a few customers, you know?
That's really important. And let's talk about that, because that's the thing that I know we encourage. Is if you're looking to sell your business in the next 5 years, we want people to be thinking 5 years out. So there, you can learn about key things that you should do to prepare that are going to give you that better chance at a sell. And that was a great strategy, like you just mentioned, diversification. So let's talk a little bit about that suggested timeline, Paul. And again, maybe some of the things that you help businesses do to prepare during that 5 years to really get ready for a sale and a stronger sale opportunity.
Right. So some more interesting, you know, I love statistics because there's so much of it. But, getting professional help, like you said, from somebody like me or like a Wayne Wong or Pat over there at the Small Business Development Center in Kihei, you know, they can get people started on that. But for the buy and sell transactions, you know, there's this, we have access to databases, right, that have a lot of information on it. And I was looking at this one report from a website called Biz Buy Sell. That's where a lot of small business owners put and list their business. You know, they said nationally they had like 9,000 transactions last year, and the average price was $350,000. You know, so you're dealing with that, and then somebody says, well, you know, what's my business worth, right? And there's always that question. And, you know, buyers are going to look at your cash flow, and they're going to look at your revenue. And so, you know, and how stable is that? Is it fluctuating? Are the trends going up or down? That's what we do over the next 3 to 5 years, is we help you understand what buyers look at.
Right.
What are they looking for? And what are they concerned about? And that's really putting into a plan and setting goals to change things up, limit the risks. I think that's huge part of what we do earlier. You know, as brokers, we really prep them. Sometimes they need to go, and they don't have a bookkeeper. They need to go and get a professional CPA, or they have a bookkeeper, but they don't have a CPA. They need somebody to really help them get their numbers right. I know people who haven't filed or they're not up to date on their stuff. You got to keep current. You got to pay your taxes, unfortunately. Unfortunately, right? It helps the world go round. So timelines. When I looked at this other deal stats report, it's another database. They said about most businesses sell at about 16 to 20% less than what they're advertised for. Kind of like a house, we put it up for sale.
Well,
you know, what does it actually sell at? And it takes on average 232 days to sell a business. That's the average. So some take a year longer. My experience is at least takes a year. And that's why a lot of brokerage agreements you'll see are at least a year long.
Yeah. Wow, those are some interesting stats, and probably something that, you know, most people are more familiar with real estate sales, and we see the market go up, and we see the market go down, and we see things selling, you know, instantly, and then we now are slowing down again and seeing things on the market for a number of months. So this really kind of helps everybody put that in perspective. And then I think you said 16 to 20% less is what you said?
Yeah. So whatever they're listed at, usually be prepared to negotiate. It's going to come down, and it's going to take time. You know, you'll get a few bites, and you'll start entertaining a buyer, and then it'll just fall apart. And not because you didn't do it right, or you didn't have your stuff together, or you're not sharing things. You're sharing everything, but it's just not a fit for the buyer. Maybe you don't have good depth in management. Maybe there's too much risk in the business. You know, there's not enough diversification like we talked about. Yeah. You know, they start to uncover things, and they're like, no, not for me. And then you got to find another one. And you do the same thing again, and it falls out. And then you got to do another one. So it's not, it's complicated. And so it takes time. It takes that year to really get it to take.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of that lately. A lot of chamber members are getting ready to retire, and they're looking to sell their business, and they will go through a due diligence process, and because you're sharing your data along the way, and sometimes the buyer gets they can be 6-8 months in. And then all of a sudden say, I don't think the risk is worth it, or something else has changed. There's a lot of different reasons. Do want to comment on the tax situation as well. There are times where people have really tried to maximize every tax benefit, or hopefully not, but sometimes underreport, and that will bite you when it comes to a business sale.
Right.
Because it's going to show you earn less.
One of the things we try to help an owner do is we look at the numbers and we try to say, okay, look, if a buyer comes in, what sort of expense on here is really not typical or not going to be incurred by a buyer? And buyers will see through that a lot of times. So that kind of helps with that problem a lot of times. But you do need to have all your data. You do need to keep up on that. That's important.
Yeah. Yeah, so you want to get those kinds of things in line, and really the experts like Paul can help you do that, because they've been doing this for many years, and I love you're probably one of my top statisticians, Paul. I love that you always go to the numbers and have all these fantastic resources to help your clients make the best decisions and pull up information that gets them to see things beyond their business, but to see what their broader industry looks like and where they also fall within that. So that's always, I think, a great help.
Yeah, are you
share.
Performing better than industry or worse than industry? Also, is different types of buyers put different values on a business. If I'm an owner-operator, I'm going to find that business worth more than a non-operator, because then I have to hire management and there's less profit. Right? So one of the things we do at Hawaii Business Sales is we go through all of that process, and we really identify the type of buyers. When we list a business, we do it confidentially. A lot of business owners don't want to throw their names out there that their business is for sale, because then their employees start to leave or get nervous. And I think it's important to maintain confidentiality. And even when we're transacting with potential buyers, we'll advertise like, restaurant in Maui. Okay, good. Well, good luck figuring out which one that is, right?
Give me a bunch.
Yeah, and then we have them sign non-disclosures, and we do a lot of contract work. So we have a lot of ways to try to protect our business owner and keep it confidential.
Yeah, that's really important. And the other thing that you work really hard on is you're helping to create that match. You're looking for the right buyers to help create that match, and the people probably most qualified. So can you tell people a little bit about that dance? And, what is it like to try and, you've got this private listing, you know the owners well, you've been working with the owners. How do you help find the best matches? And again, you've been sharing that the market is down. So what is some of the current buyers, what are these markets looking like now? What are they expecting?
Well, what we try to do is, this is your business. It's been, it's your baby, right, they say, and so you don't want to just sell it to anybody. So sellers are particular, and I think us as agents, we get to know our sellers, and we really get to figure out who they're looking for in a buyer, what they're looking for in a buyer, what are they looking for, and so we try to match them on fit, personality. How do you think the employees are going to get along with these individuals that want to take over? And if it's not a fit, it's not going to happen. The sale will not happen. It's got to be a good fit. And so that's one of the things we try to do when we match up, believe it or not. It has nothing to do with the financials and the risk and anything else in the business. It's all about fit, because this is something they've taken pride in developing over the years, and they want to see it continue to move forward. Matching could be an internal transfer, external transfer. Do they want to gift it? Do they want to work with family members or cousins to buy it? Or an employee, a key employee coming up through the ranks. Maybe I don't want to advertise it. I want to take it internal. or create an ESOP or things like that. That's an employee stock owner where the employees own the company, beneficiaries. So there's a lot of different ways to match, but really we got to understand the, whether their preferences, right? Are they internal, external, and that helps us match.
And what's that University of Hawaii program that helps if you're looking to do internal with your family? They've got like a family-owned business program that helps businesses prepare for that and work with family members toward that goal.
Correct. I work with a company out of Honolulu. I partner with several companies. Hawaii Business Sales is primary. I have my own valuation company, but I also work with a company out of Honolulu that's been doing family business consulting for 40 years. And, that company has a lot of experience, and I've been working with them on family transitions from first generation to second on to third now for some of them.
Which is amazing. And something we in Hawaii love to see, keep our local grown staples here. And it's tough. I also know many family businesses who have tried really hard, and sometimes family members are interested. Sometimes the children have gone off and been educated in a different direction, and sometimes we see there isn't anybody really interested in ready to take over.
It's a special breed too, right? It takes a special person to want to take on all the regulations and the risk and the tolerance, and over time, and that burden on their shoulders of carrying employees and doing all that stuff, right? It takes a special person to do it.
It really does. It really does. And many people don't realize if you've always worked for someone else, to understand walk in the owner's shoes for a bit and understand the burdens they carry. I can't tell you how many times we've seen startups where the employees have medical, but the business owners can't afford to pay medical for themselves, so they go years without medical coverage and higher expenses, just to keep the business running and started. And of course, as they grow, they are able to incorporate that as they move forward. But it's a tough road, and there's Hawaii has one of the highest regulatory environments in the nation on businesses. So it's tough everywhere, but it's particularly tough.
Yeah, I knew that would get you going for sure. Because you're a big supporter of business, and so that's why we do this. But another match is we also help business owners find financing. We know the bankers in town, and capital is getting more expensive, and so that also lowers the cash flow on a business when you have to throw more debt on it or a higher cost of debt. And it gets harder to qualify for those loans. So that makes it even more tough to sell a business. And that's why that percentage is a challenge, but it's possible.
Yep. And, so if you are thinking of selling your business, Paul, how can people reach out to you? I want you to call Paul Felix. He's been doing this for a long time chamber member as well, and just offers so many people great advice. And we want you to start planning now. If you're thinking sooner than 5 years, jump on this right now. Call him soon so that he can best help you. How can they reach you, Paul?
Well, that's great, Pam. Yeah, they can always call me on my phone. I can give you a number, or, of course,
give us your phone number if you don't mind.
Sure. It's 808-740-8078.
Fantastic.
And, of course, the website, Hawaii Biz for Sale, BIZ for FOR Sale, SALE, is a website for, Hawaii Business Sales. You can reach me through that website, or there's many different ways to reach out to me. Or give Pam a call.
Give us a call. We'll be glad to give you the referral. So if you couldn't write it down, don't worry. Call the Maui Chamber of Commerce. You can reach us at 244-0081. Chief Chamber Angel Amber will get you connected with Paul. And Paul, thank you so much for joining us today, for helping people understand what the current climate looks like in business sales and how they can prepare. That's a valuable information that whether you're ready now, it's something just to know and keep a hold of in the future.
Very good. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
You too. Aloha.
Thank you. Aloha. Okay, next we're going to bring on a wonderful Made in Maui County Festival vendor. Her name is Bailey Onaga, and she is an artist who was born, raised, and is based in Wailuku, Maui. She has experience painting murals with Precita Eyes Muralist in San Francisco, where she graduated summa cum laude with a Bachelor's of Fine Art and Japanese Studies. She also has collaborated on installations with her teacher, Phil Sabato, also a tremendous artist in Wailuku. And Bailey's company is called Miyo Art. And Gary's reaching out to her to get her online with us. But her art has been coveted at the Made in Maui County Festival. She does very well there. And it's lovely to see that we have an artist born and raised in Wailuku, going off and going to college, and then coming back to Hawaii and Maui and to be with us again, creating fabulous works of art. Aloha, Bailey. Welcome to the show.
Aloha, Pam. Thanks for having me.
So good to have you on. I was just telling people how you studied abroad and also here with Phil Sabato, and we're thrilled to have you tell us about how you got your company Miyo Art started here back at home.
Oh, mahalo, and thank you for pronouncing that right. A lot of people have a difficult time. I don't blame them, though. But basically, I've been drawing and painting my whole life. Since I could hold a pencil, probably, so maybe 3 years old. And
wow,
I started studying with Phil Sabato when I was 9. I think that was the youngest age he was taking students at the time. And I've just been a student of his ever since then. I'm still a student of his. I help him with big projects, like if there are any murals or design work, and he's probably my biggest influence.
Oh, that's so wonderful to hear, because he's also in the show, and Phil and Christine have been with us for many years. So nice to know that
they're the best.
He's taught and helped you get your company started. So tell everybody about the types of art that you like doing best.
I do a variety of art. It's kind of funny because you'll look at my work and you'll wonder if it's the same person or if it's multiple people. It depends on how I think the piece is going to affect the viewer. I do anything from something really whimsical. I call it Hawaii kawaii because, like you had mentioned earlier, I lived in Japan for about 6 years. And I am Native Hawaiian, and I come from a Native Hawaiian art background with Mr. Sabato, so it's kind of a mix of the two cultures. And then I'll do something like that, or I'll do sort of very dreamy, feminine landscape paintings. So hard to put me in a box, but I hope I'm getting easier for people to understand.
Yeah, well, you know, what I think it's always interesting to talk about art over radio.
I know.
and not be able to visualize it. But we're going to give them the website so they can immediately look this up because it's important to hear the stories because I think art is very personal. And
totally.
And I always love a piece of art more, even if I'm immediately attracted to it. And that's kind of what the Made in Maui County Festival is about. It's about telling the business stories. And I might be immediately attracted to a piece of art, but when I know the artist's inspiration or when I know the history of the artist and you see that come through in the piece, then it's far more meaningful to me. And I know so many people love to tell stories about their art and who the artist is when you go and you see something at their home. They love to share those stories as well.
I agree 100%. I think they kind of teach you that in college. Sometimes they call it little white lies. You know, pretty great concept. Or the art world can be a little pretentious like that. But I feel like if you're really authentic in
yes.
what you're putting out there, you will have a good story behind it. And you're right, like hearing the mana'o or the meaning, the true impact of your piece, it does make a huge difference. And I think with any business, but especially art, it's a little extreme, but I kind of compare it to you're so vulnerable. It's kind of like getting naked in a room of strangers, and you're just putting your art out there and seeing how people will receive it. And you have to be brave and be ready for, not everyone's going to like it, but that's what's also so great about art.
Yeah. I've worked with artists for years, and I'm always fascinated by something that sometimes I'll talk to an artist and they'll say, "Oh, I really don't like this piece," and I'm like, "Really? I love this piece." And they'll say,
totally.
"Oh, or I made a mistake here and I almost threw this one out," and I'm like, "Don't throw the piece out. Don't know." So,
yes, I have so many friends like that. Totally.
It's tough. Yeah. And you're doing amazing things too, because you're also productizing your art in creating different products. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I think I just released my first shirt. So I also work for Phil Sabato's daughter, Jackie, who you're probably familiar with. She's the owner of Paradise Now. I worked there part-time, and she inspired me to make shirts. So that was a really fun process. I'm releasing these shirts that are kind of my most popular design. It's a protea bucket. It's just a bucket full of protea flowers. And I learned that you're supposed to pronounce it protea. I got corrected by a bunch of farmers, so I hope I'm not offending anyone. But anyway, that's been fun. It's just I like symbols that have deeper meanings than people think, because when I think of those buckets, I think of people selling them outside of their houses. It's kind of an honor system. You leave the money in the mailbox. Same goes with, fruits. Usually you'll see it in Kula. But yeah, a lot of my, even though my art is turned into products to sell, I still like to think that they hold a really deep meaning, and it's relatable to most of all to where I'm come from, which is Maui.
Yeah. Well, you have tremendous art, and I think that for so many of our artists, and I really saw this start when we had the Great Recession, when art pieces were not really selling at those higher prices, and so artists were struggling. And so we started to see people productize. Sometimes it started with note cards, or sometimes it started with smaller prints. And one of the early adopters in terms of shirts was Sherry Reeve. I think we all now call those the Sherry shirts.
Yes,
people flood to. But people love to wear their art now. This is a growing movement.
Absolutely.
And they're so proud to wear their art, and it's a new way of fashion, I think, and an exciting thing. And I see people wearing their shirts with their yoga pants onto high-end black pants and a blazer jacket, but they'll have a printed artwork shirt, which is fantastic. It's very versatile, and it makes a statement. It says something about you too.
It 100% does, and I think another really good point is I like the accessibility of it, because everyone can enjoy art, and everyone has the right to enjoy art. And sometimes when I step into those really high-end museums and galleries, they're very inspiring, but I can't help but feel a little out of place sometimes. So that's why I think accessibility in art is so important, and that's also why I love murals so much.
Yeah, I just to do art on such a grand scale must be thrilling.
It is, yeah. It's also really humbling, because it's not really yours anymore. It's not a piece that's going to stay in your studio, or if you have a gallery, it's for everybody. It's not really, it doesn't really belong to you. It belongs to the public and the community.
Yeah. I love that. So let's talk about where people can find your art and look things up, because we want to, if you're by your computer and you have a minute, I want you to go to your browser and pull up Miyo art. Bailey, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on my website, bmiyo.com, and you can find me on Instagram. My handle is b.miyo_art. You can find me at Paradise Now. That's my part-time job, and I sell a lot of my art there. And a couple other stores on Maui that I'm really grateful. They're taking a chance on my art. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at your website now, and what I love is your art is fun and bright colors. I'm looking at everything from a beautiful ocean scene to gorgeous Hawaiian ladies to nene, just fun, great fun art. But I love the colors. I love the brightness of it. I'm looking at the Jamie Lee original painting. Really beautiful things on here that are just gorgeous. Haleakala. Everything is so fun and bright and energized. Ooh, a fish hook. A fish hook with fish in the shape of the hook is super cool. Just great things. Something for everybody, really. All right. Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I want to encourage everybody to visit Bailey's website, visit her at the gallery.